Alright, so we decided, to do the VA hospital, get my leg checked out. And we had a plan. Our plan was, it was about 8 o'clock at night. What we'd do is we'd go to Jack in the Box. We'd get 2 hamburgers, and on our receipt there was a code that we got at the beginning that said, get 2 free tacos if you do our survey. So we do the survey at all the Jack in the Boxes that we go to, and we get 2 free hamburgers, or we get 2 hamburgers and 2 free tacos for $1.71. So we ate that, we loaded up on waters, and we decided to walk to the VA, which we talked to this one gentleman. I can't remember his name. He was a Marine. He was a security guard at this truck stop, and where we got kicked out of. But he had told us about the VA, and he, etc., where we could go, and that it was a new VA, and it was like, he's like, it's right here, and GPS says it's right here, but they have all these tracks and bridges and all this stuff, and you can't get through. So we had to walk all the way around the city. And we knew it was going to take us forever. He was like, no, man, it's going to take you 8 hours to walk there. I'm like, that's all right. We have a plan. And our plan was, since it was so hot, it was over 100 degrees every day in Vegas, was we would hit the VA about 8, 9 in the morning and figured it would be busy. And we could just stay in there all day long until it cooled off and then start to figure out and hitchhike out of here. We were learning, I think that was also the day that we learned that there was a prison south of Vegas where O.J. Simpson lives and a prison north of Vegas. And in between, they have signs that say, do not pick up hitchhikers, maybe escaped convicts. So we needed to get out of Vegas 17 miles to this closest truck stop area where we could start hitchhiking again. And we decided we would just spend the day at the VA, get my leg checked out, blah, 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 and then, hopefully by the time we got out there, it would start being cool again. Well, we walked a little ways, and we, eat a Jack in the Box. Then we'd walk a little ways. Then we decided to play cards on the side of the road. So I taught Scott how to play 31. And we just say we played cards the first time for about half hour, 45 minutes at least. Taught him how to shuffle. You think you learned how to shuffle in Vegas, correct? Then we walked a little more, and we found this picnic table area, a little parkway, right on the road that we were walking. And we sat and played cards again, talked, killed spiders, all that, and then walked some more. We're getting closer. We were trying to get to, was it Centennial Boulevard? Yeah. And so we finally get to the Centennial and make a right. We're walking down, and we found this little YMCA area that had a little desert play area next to it. And I think we were probably about, I'd say 15, 20 minutes from walking to the VA. We could see it, the VA hospital. And it was like, hey, let's just crash here. So we walked probably 100 yards into this little desert area, found this little bush, laid a poncho down and laid down on top of it, or another one on top of us. And we just, chilled there and woke up about 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. I remember the sun came out early and it's right above you. And so we walked to there and we got to the VA hospital, and right at the entrance in this big billboard it says, emergency room not open until July 7th, or July 1st. No emergency room. I was like, well, we're going in. My leg is killing me. We got to get seen. I need to get at least checked out. So we went in, and the whole hospital was empty. It really didn't officially open until July 1st. And they ended up transporting us. We stayed there for a long time, man. They let us, we chilled, rested in the air conditioning. We charged our batteries to our iPads and our phones and stuff, watched TV. Was able to catch up on the news. I think that was the first time we watched TV in probably 7, 8 days, wouldn't you say? Yeah. And so we got to, do that, and then they transported us to the Nellis Air Force Base, and got seen there. Found out, I had a little hairline fracture on my shin, put a walking cast on it, and ace bandage, all that. But it was funny, man. I was so tired, and when we were in there, Scott said that they were laughing and making fun of me. When they came in to put the little oxygen meter and a blood cuff on my arm, so Scott, what'd you say? He shook me?
We shook him and then tried to wake him up pretty much anyway, and he was out.
And he said that they would lifted my hand, let it fall, that him and the nurse were laughing at me. But I woke up when the doctor came in to tell me about my leg and stuff, and I woke up and I was looking at him, and I'm looking at the doctor, and I could feel something on my finger, and then the blood pressure was squeezing. Now before that, I guess they took blood to check us for drugs, make sure we weren't crazy, all that, and to check for dehydration, to see which everything was fine. But I was sitting there thinking, man, that Band-Aid is getting so tight. And then I just remember, Scott, when did they put this on? And he was all laughing at me and everything. So they put a soft cast on me, put me on crutches. We walked around Vegas some more, hit more casinos that night. The next day, it was going to be 84 degrees. It was like 84 degrees at 6 in the morning, right? That's when we slept in the ambulances in front of us in Vegas. I just took the soft cast off, wrapped my leg real tight with the ace bandage. I had to lose the crutches, man. My armpits, I mean, there's no way I could hitchhike back with the crutches. And we filled up water bottles and walked 17 miles through the desert along the 15. We walked past that prison. I'm like walking past the prison. Nobody ever stopped us. Nobody ever came. I kept thinking, man, for sure somebody prison guard's going to at least drive us up to the next exit, or somebody's going to... Nothing. Saw some really sick things in the desert that people do with animals, but you watch the videos on that. Saw some beautiful like wildlife, cactuses, all that. But we survived the desert. I had soaked a shirt, as I was saying. I don't even know if I said this. I was going to say it, but I soaked a T-shirt, really soaking wet, and put it on Scott's head, dripped it, around, filled water bottles, and we walked. And we walked 17 miles out of Vegas to the truck stop. Filled up our water bottles, made a sign, dad and son going north, and Larry picked us up fairly right away, right?
Yep.
I mean, right away. And the truck driver, Larry, picked us up, and he drove us. He said, I'm only going a little ways tonight. He said, I got to sleep because it's going to be dark real soon. But like I said, 17 miles took us forever, so it was going to be dark real soon. And he... somewhere in Arizona. Was it Arizona? Utah? I don't know. You know what? I can't remember. It's the next state north.
Utah.
Was it Utah?
Utah.
All right. We stayed in Utah. There was like a little truck stop area there, and I mean little. And like we stood on the exit for a while. He had told us, hey, in the morning I'm pulling out at this time. If you don't get a ride, just stand. I'll get you back and take you a little further north. He was going to take us to the 70. And then we slept outside again that night. We didn't have ponchos at this point, right? Didn't we give them up?
We gave them up at Vegas.
Yeah, we gave them to a homeless person in Vegas, gave them our ponchos. But in Vegas, at the hospital, I did get the hospital gown from them so I can make a funny video. But so what we would do is I put my left arm in the gown, and Scott would put his right arm in the gown. So if it's opposite, Scott's me, he's got one arm in, I got one arm in. And we just lay there and covered up on the ground off the side of the freeway. We laid there for a good while, probably about 2 in the morning. Went back into the truck stop area, and I was going to the bathroom, and a trucker was coming out and didn't shut the shower all the way. And Scott and I hadn't showered in how many days, man? Probably 7, 6, I don't know, a lot of days. We took 4 showers in 16 days, so this was one of them. So I just put my shoe there, hold that door open. Scott came, and we just ran in and showered and shaved and everything real quick, and then met Larry in the morning. He was going to take us to the 70, but the 70 was closed. A lot of the 70 was closed due to the wildfires and stuff. Is what he was telling us. So we shot up to the 80 with him. We actually crashed at a truck stop that night and got pads, right? And that's the night we laid pads down on the ground right outside of a truck stop. Trucks like just roll them up in the morning, get them out in the back of the thing. And they were like sleeping bags, man. They were nice. Kept us comfortable. It was a really good night's sleep. Next day, we got a ride to Des Moines, Iowa. Was that where we went? Ended up in Des Moines, Iowa. Des Moines, Iowa was. We decided, look, let's just do country roads again. So we took country roads through Des Moines, Iowa. We saw like a place called Adventureland. We wondered if that was what the movie was based on. Jumped in a lot of the back of the trucks that day too, wouldn't you say? We rode in so many back of pickup trucks along the way, just throughout the United States. But we rode back of a pickup truck, got on, I think it was the 63 or 163. Went down that road. We met this gentleman, Robert. Robert owns his own trucking business. He moves people, his moving business. He was very cool, very cool. Loved our story, because we videotaped every day. Every time we got in the car, asked him his story and everything. And, took us to dinner that night. Went to a Mexican restaurant. I remember Scott got this huge steak. I can't even show you. It was so big. And just about ate all of it. Got us to stay in a hotel room that night. I mean, we slept in a bed. Had good breakfast the next morning. And he actually also gave us $50 to help us on our journey. Which is cool because we left there and we immediately went to Walmart. One thing, and I'll talk later about what we packed. We didn't pack enough socks. We packed 3 pairs of socks each. We thought we'd have time to wash stuff in between. Never had time. So we ended up buying an additional 20 pair of socks along the way, and we only came home with 2 clean pairs. So it took 24 pair of socks to walk across the United States. Obviously didn't change them every day because we were out there for 16 days, but had to put like plastic around our shoes, etc. But I got off course. Where was I at? Des Moines, Iowa? Somewhere? Or Robert took us down. So Robert, we taught him how to do YouTube, showed him how to set up an account and everything for his son. Next morning we started hitching out. It got so routine, we'd see a cop and we'd just go up to be like, here, run our IDs real quick, 'cause you're going to do it in a minute. They would run it, let us go. But we walked through this little town, can't remember where, and this lady picked us up, and she was a painter and gone her way to work, and she actually went up a couple miles and was like, hey, I'll just be late for work. This is an interesting story. Got out there, then another lady picked us up. It was from Hawaii, took us, and we walked, it seemed, for the next ride. Do you remember who got us? Oh, that's when we ended up in the back of a truck. I was like this. I was like, I'd say stuff, man. I'd be like, come on, dear God, please get us a good old boy. We need Bubba to go by. And this guy drove by, and he's like, hey, man, I remember jumping in the back of his truck. He took us a little further, and then we ate it. We told him where we were going. He took us through that city to another city, and that's when we met up, where we went to Quiznos, remember? We ate at Quiznos, and then got out, threw a thumb up, and immediately got picked up by this young kid named Mike, and he was like, hey, where are you going, blah, blah, and took us a little ways. And then we just kept getting picked up, and the next thing I knew, we were through Illinois, and we were in Indiana. No, we weren't yet. I almost forgot the scariest city. I remember when we were going through Illinois, we ended up meeting this guy, Mike, who did something with trampolines, or loved trampolines, and explained to us the difference between a rectangular and a circular trampoline. But he dropped us off near this town in Belmont. And in Belmont, we went in this gas station, fill our water bottles, and they had this big, huge sign outside that said, what did it say? Something about Rice Krispies, peanut butter Rice Krispie treats with this chocolate on top. So I remember we went in and got a big thing of them, and we had them done by the time we were out of the parking lot. But they told us, they actually scared us a bit. They're like, we told our story, and they're like, don't go through Peoria. Go around Peoria. I'm like, no, it's a straight shot, man. We just got to get down to 24. And they're like, no, you're white, and white people boys do not escape Peoria at night. So we walked a little bit. I remember we went down, we walked a little ways, then we put our jeans on and stuff, sprayed for bugs, and walked a little bit, and that's when that Mexican guy came, and he actually took us to Peoria and Martin Luther King. So I was like, Scott, should we go through the Martin Luther King, through the downtown, or do you want to do the outskirts? Well, we decided to do the outskirts. And we walked and walked and walked forever. Let me tell you, we were scared because other people scared us. They put this in their mind that they're going to hurt us, etc. We obviously made it through. But we got here about 9:30, and we didn't get out of Peoria over the MacArthur Bridge until 12:30 at night. And, I mean, we walked through the worst of the worst. I guarantee it. I mean, there were gangs of people. You heard gunshots. You heard sirens. People would be walking and be like, you Po-Po? I'm like, nah, man, I'm just Po. Remember we met this one lady. She was dressed like a banker. She looked so nice and everything. I went up to her and I was like, ma'am, can you tell me how much further the 24 is? And she's like, 24 what? I'm like, the road 24. 24 what? What 24 on what road? I'm like, no, not on a road, the road, Highway 24. 24 what? 24 what? I mean, there's 24 over here, there's 24 over there, 24 what? 24 what? I'm like, Scott, man, let's just get walking. We're walking. She's like, 24 what? But, I mean, we made it out of the city, a couple kids around 11:30 throwing rocks at us and everything. That was the worst of it. I mean, I was just like, stop throwing rocks. Stop throwing rocks, please. And, they stopped. But we made it out of the city even though we were scared. So, start again, we're escaping at Peoria.